Hello and welcome back to Genesis Designs and Modelcraft, and welcome back to Chatterbox, another Chatterbox. I know, I've got 48 million reviews to do and I keep doing Chatterboxes because they're quicker and they're easier. But I do have to give a little update, so I'm going to zoom out a bit because that was on maximum zoom for Mustang filming. Right, a comment on probably the most recent Mustang upload I did with regard to the beading tools. These are the little tools that I use to put circles back into models. So when you've got things like cowling fasteners or just fasteners in general and you need to put a circular shape back into your model, it can be very, very difficult to do if you don't have the right tools. And this is one of the probably easiest way to do it is these little tools, and I'm going to bring them up to the camera so you can see, hopefully, if the definition is sufficient, that there's a little sort of circle in the end of these. So if you press them into something soft enough, you'd end up with a sort of a pretty decent approximation of a mushroom head rivet, actually. Now, I bought this set a lot of years ago from a company called Kamet, who are long since defunct, I believe. And I don't really see them about very often. So I mentioned them and then immediately apologised. There you go, that's what it'll do in blue text. See, there's a circle, and inside the circle, if you push it hard enough, there's a little sort of mushroom headed end. Yeah, if you don't have these, you're left with sort of things like someone pointed out in a comment, you could use hypodermic needles or sort of brass tubing, and that's absolutely true, you can. But it's pretty difficult and you need to find the exact right size. And the risk of putting it into your finger is even greater than it is with these, I believe. I think that's fair to say. So another commenter, and I do apologise because I didn't look it up before I started who it was that mentioned this, pointed out that my good friends at Models for Sale actually have some of these tools under the Trumpeter brand. And here they are. My phone there. Pretty much the same set, probably some kind of copy, of course, but it looks to me to be pretty much the same set as I've got here. Comments maybe slightly rusty, doesn't really matter, long as they work. Price $12.99. Currently there are 12 of these in stock, so as I say, I don't see these advertised very often, so if anybody's intrigued by these circular punches, grab one. Get onto the Models for Sale website. If you go to Tools and then Scribes and Punches, they're in there, $12.99 a set. Seems reasonable to me. Secondly, unexpectedly in the post, I got this the other day, sent through from Arma Hobby. It's the latest iteration, or the next, or the newest, however you want to look at it, iteration of boxing of their new 48th scale P-39, and I've got to say the markings in this one are far more to my preferences, so I'm actually going to build this one, and in fact the one on the box art, because I am a sucker for a shark's mouth, although that's a bit of a wobbly one, but this is on the list to be put together very, very soon. I'm not going to review it because it's exactly the same kit as the review that I've already put up. So if you want to see what's in this new Arma Hobby P-39, have a look through my past videos, or if I remember I'll link it below for the inbox on this kit. But I'm going to do this build and it'll probably be rubbish because it's going to be my first time doing it, but I'm going to do it in the style of I'm just going to do a voiceover and build it, and it'll be a sort of a, hopefully around about a 30-minute full build video. So a lot less detailed than most of my normal builds, but that's what I planned for this model. And the next thing is this. So whilst at Duxford recently, with my good friend Amanda Harrison, who's a pilot, we were chatting away and a guy came along who she knew, and in clutching in his hands one of these. Guy in question was one of the team that put this together, and I had a quick look at it and thought, gosh, this is nice, and I kept it in my, basically I took a photograph of it so I'd remember it, because he said they would be out soon, and sure enough, here it is. This is the first edition, volume 1, of the vintage Aviation Echo. Now I know we're here for modelling, and most of you are modellers, but I think it's fair to say that most people who model aviation subjects are also somewhat enthusiastic about aviation itself. I certainly am, and this book basically celebrates that. Now if you've ever been to a posh coffee shop or a solicitor's or somewhere like that, you may have seen they quite often have on the old coffee table these mighty tomes, usually based on Grand Prix racing or vintage cars and things like that, or furniture and decoration, that are just great big glossy magazines, and they're just glamorous and brilliant. This is the same thing effectively, but for aeroplanes, vintage aviation. Beautiful photo on the cover. Here it is with the details there of what's in this, the first issue. As you can see, £18. Look at the thickness. This is awesome. If I just put the back up for you, this is where you go to get a copy should you want one, and I'm not on commission here. I can't remember if I paid postage. I think I did. Probably be about £22 all in, but this is the kind of thing within. Thick, glossy, gorgeous paper, gorgeous photos of vintage aviation subjects. There's a piece on John Romain here, leading light in the scene here in the UK. Some very old stuff there, and it's basically big articles about rebuilding and flying vintage aircraft. It really doesn't fit under the camera very well, which is annoying. Racing, more racing, the Comet. Big article on the rebuild and restoration to flying condition of the Messerschmitt 109E, with more fabulous photos. And it does include photos of things like this, so there is some modelling reference in here. This aircraft has been studiously restored to be original looking, so you can take it as read that that's pretty authentic in there. And there are the odd pictures here and there of sort of under the skin stuff like this. It's quite simply fabulous. It's probably not something you'd read cover to cover in one go, but it's the kind of thing you would certainly dip in and out of when you've got a free half hour somewhere, you know. Look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it. This is all inside a P40, early P40. Really pleased I picked it up, really pleased they're doing it. Fabulous, fabulous thing, and I'm really looking forward to the next edition. I'm not sure how frequently it's going to be published. I can't remember if he said quarterly or bi-yearly. As I say, it's a pretty weighty piece of reading, and just so worth £18. It's an absolute bargain. So if any of you are actually enthusiastic about this kind of thing, I can't recommend this enough. And lastly, and honestly the main reason for this chatterbox, is there will be a slight break in proceedings here at Genesis Towers. So I have been managing to pretty much to keep to a sort of at least one video a week schedule for the last while. That is possibly going to slip any minute. I, in a few days' time, have to go into hospital for an operation, hopefully to sort out something that I've been struggling with for quite some time now, but it is going to necessitate a stay in hospital and a somewhat lengthy recovery, so the first couple of weeks of which I'm very probably not really going to be able to do any modelling. Now I am a couple of episodes ahead on the Mustang build. I know you're up to about episode 7. I think I'm filming episode 10, So here is the P-51 as it is right now. It's quite close to being on the home straight actually, and my hope is, or was, to get this completed and the filming completed before I went into hospital, so that I've sort of got a backlog of stuff that I can put up on the channel. And you could say, you know, I could edit and process and schedule some of those videos to be going up, and I will try to do that. But the problem is that each one of these sort of hour-ish long episodes takes, you know, an hour, probably a couple of hours in total to edit, and then it takes 6 to 8 hours to render it, and another hour to 2 hours to get it up onto YouTube, and I literally don't have enough time in the next couple of days, on top of all the other stuff I've got to get squared away before I go in. I can't see it happening. I may possibly get one ready, but so if there's a gap in proceedings, that is why, and I will aim to be back and producing, or at least posting content as soon as I can within reason, once I'm back up on my feet. So that's all for this one. It was just a quick info piece. So get across to Models for Sale and get yourself some beading tools. Don't forget, he has still got a lot of cheap Airfix kit, and those cheap ICM biplane sets are still available as well. Thanks very much for watching and all of your support as always, in all of the ways that you give it. And with all of that said, I think it only remains for me to say, look after yourselves, look after each other, and Genesis out.